Hi, this is a life writing workshop. My name's Tony Wailey, and I'm doing this on behalf of the Speaking Volumes group led by Lucy Hannah in conjunction with the Arena film director Anthony Wall. The film is about three great football managers, Bill Shankly, Jock Stein, and Matt Busby. I've said them in the wrong way around because that betrays my own preference. What it's about is trying to get you to think about the themes of the film and to get you to write something on those themes that I'm going to hopefully be able to guide you through. So I'm going to talk about the film. I'm going to give you some words that hopefully you can work around with. I'm going to make those words into associations that you can write a story, and then you can submit to myself and to Writing on the Wall. And I'll give you the website now, or the URL, and that is info@writingонthewall.org.uk. I'll give you that again before we finish. So this writing workshop is designed to develop an awareness of the inner and outer processes of writing, of thinking, of feeling, of knowing, what all good stories are built upon. If the theme of the film has a particular resonance, it's based upon place, it's based upon spirit, and it's based upon journey. And all of those three managers, great managers, who transformed their club's fortunes, Manchester United, Glasgow Celtic, Liverpool Football Club, they transformed those clubs in the spirit of which they lived their own lives. I have to say here that they were all passionate, in one degree or another, campaigners for social justice. This was articulated in their manner, and also because they came from a place in the west of Scotland that gave them a life beyond football, gave them a set of values beyond football. They all came from mining backgrounds. Jock Stein, for example, worked as an underground miner for 13 years. Busby went down the pits. Shankly, I don't think, did, but was surrounded by all of the family who did. And that gave them, a spirit to their lives in which they conducted out of the place that they had come from. The journey they made as miners from the west of Scotland to the three great cities of the West, Manchester, Liverpool, and Glasgow itself, was redolent of the spirit and the place and the journey itself in the transformation of their respective teams into great European teams. Now, you can see how already life writing has dictated their own particular journey. The Speaking Volumes company, led by Lucy Hannah and Anthony Wall, their idea was to try to put these films in relation to writing. So to mix filmology with literature. And Hugh McIlvenney, the great journalist who actually put the films together in 3 half-hour slots over the Easter of 1997, quotes, "It is not even worth the argument that football is not an art form." Busby transformed Manchester United, Stein with Glasgow Celtic, and Shankly with Liverpool Football Club. And in terms of journey, they were immigrants themselves coming to immigrant cities. We only have to look at the literature to show the poverty of the way vast majorities of the population of that immigration trail had to live. If we look at Engels' condition of the working class in England, in Salford, if we look at Paddy O'Mara, in the Diary of the Liverpool Irish Slummy, and the latter day great writer of Glasgow, James Kelman, all of them had many stories to tell about which these football managers gave voice to, gave spirit to. And the one overriding principle in a sense of collectivism was never get above yourself. And this played very well in their respective cities. In fact, Busby once said, I don't know if this is in the film, but Busby once said, a manager in any organisation is complete without any feeling for people. So to a lesser or greater extent, all were left-wing, but all were passionate in the idea of social justice. And they brought this commitment to their football. They brought this commitment to their art, if you wish. They had a life outside of football, and that life led them to communicate much more with the people of their cities. And they were loved for it. Now, I've spent 10 minutes talking about the film, and I'm conscious of the fact that you might not have seen the film. Writing on the Wall will be showing it through the festival, and I hope you'll have a chance to see it, and I'll hope you have a chance to reflect on some of the things that I've said about the film. But to move on now to the notion of the workshop, I want to try to transfer some of those ideas that I've spoken about with your ideas about how you might write about your life. And what I'm going to do is in that process of transfer, I'm going to give you a series of word exercises. And this is based on the idea that all writing is a form of conflict, either between yourself and the page, yourself and the word, yourself and other people. A bit like the notion of place and spirit and journey that these football managers made. What happens beneath conflict is context. And the context, even if your mother is asking you at the age of 14 to wash the dishes and you're rebelling or you're submissively accepting, what is that about? Well, it's about age in that context. That's the notion. Out of conflict comes context. It's like the great writer Jose Luis Borges saying to his students in the port city of Buenos Aires, if you want to write about Buenos Aires, write about New York, write about Liverpool. It's that notion of transfer. So I want you, if you have a pen, to get a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to list down these 15 words. I'll give them slowly and maybe have to repeat myself. The first is discipline. The second is control. The third is power. Group those together. Now I want you to give you another 7 after those 3. And that is love, family, change, faith, spirit, skill, and passion. As you will see, they all link to the film that I've been talking about, but they're we're taking the themes from the film and applying them to yourself. I want to give you 5 more, and they are tangential to the 10 I've just given you, but they follow a more generic trajectory, and that is illness, fitness or well-being, resilience, fraternity, solidarity. Now, what I want to try to do is to try to put 50 words to each of those words. So each category that I've given you, you supply 50 words. So for discipline, for an example, I have no discipline. I look out the window, I pretend to read a book, I search for an idea. When will it come? When will I have an idea? How will I work it? Do I need more books? It's thinking about this idea that enables you to work it. Don't forget, every writer starts from the outside and starts to work inside. You could say every writer is an outsider and ends up an insider within his or her story. Equally, every writer needs to finish something, whether it be a sentence, a paragraph, a page. If you get an opportunity, you might see a small clip I put together maybe 7 years ago on just this process on YouTube. Tony Wailey on YouTube in 2013, I believe. So you put 50 words together for each of those categories, each of those 15 categories. Now, you take 10 of those 50 words, you select from those 15 categories, you select 10, and you put that together. It mightn't go completely together. Number 1 might go with number 13, number 2 might go with number 10, number 5 might go with number 7. But you're putting this together. Each 50 words almost like a mini drama. Don't forget conflict and context. Conflict and context. When you put them together, shake it up, dust it down, see where the crinkles and the cracks are. Try to make joining words. Somewhere along the line, you will have fashioned a story based upon your life, based upon common themes, based upon themes that these managers used to transform their own clubs, their own identities of the club, and more important, carry people with them. Don't forget what Molière said. At first I write for myself, then a couple of friends, and then a wider audience. It always starts from the outside and then works in. When you have that 500 words, send them to me, and I'll give you that email address again. That's info@writingonthewall, all one word, .org.uk. info@writingonthewall.org.uk. I'll choose 8 of what I think are the best of these submissions and put them on Writing on the Wall website for the online festival that's taking place in May. Please note, life writing is not so much about putting words on paper as a process of feeling, remembering, and shaping your experience. Conflict merely adds salt to the soup in establishing your identity and your context. This is why Liverpool was chosen to show this film of Busby, Stein and Shankly as a city redolent of place, spirit and journey. Good luck with it all, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks very much.